about to start this. Let me just have a little look. Nope, that goes. Does it come back? Yes, it does. Okay, now I don't know if you can see me. I don't know yet because it's the first time I've used this particular webinar format. So you might be able to see me, or you might just be able to see the slide and the screen. Well, it doesn't matter if you can't see me because I'm not that special. So today, 3 secrets to decrease your pain in 7 days. And if you have not yet met me, then I will be introducing myself properly in just a moment. There's a picture of me, if you can't already see me. I'm Chris Pickard. I'm Director of Body Imbalance in Hertfordshire. And one of our goals is to nurture the nation to wellness, one person at a time. That's in the clinic. I'm hoping with webinars that we're going to reach more than one person at a time, and we're going to start having a bigger impact. So why should you stick around to the end today? Because I will tell you how to get a list of 11 pain-killing foods, a copy of my hard to find natural pain relief report, which goes into different nutrients, supplements, different free techniques. You can use some of them quite mind-blowingly simple, yet we're just not doing them anymore. There's a huge list of different ways you can decrease your pain naturally, and further access to the original 7 days to less pain training that is currently not available, apart from if I release it. So first of all, a little results disclaimer. Nobody gets the same results. Everyone's a little bit different, and with what I'm going to be revealing today, some people have already had extraordinary results with these 3 simple things, but they might not be for you. But don't worry, because there's lots more that I can share with you at the end. I'm not going to reverse you to childhood. I'm not going to turn you into superheroes, but maybe you might feel like one. Now, I just want to share just a quick brief story of what is possible. Now, most people come to us with back pain. That's the most, because it's the most common pain there is. The most common chronic pain is back pain by far. And yeah, people come to us and people are used to getting back pain sorted with manual means, you know, chiropractic, osteopathy, physiotherapy, massage, or of course there's painkillers and surgery. But what very few people realize is that at least 50% of back pain is actually nutritional. And one of the most extreme examples of this was a gentleman that came to see us. I mean, he so obviously had sciatica caused by a slipped disc. That's an old-fashioned term, by the way, slipped disc. It was so obviously a slipped disc, so that meant that, you know, painkillers, physiotherapy, massage if it doesn't get any better, surgery. I did some very gentle work because I could hardly touch him. Told him that you've got to change your diet and your lifestyle because it's incredibly awful and it's inflammatory and it's going to make this last a lot longer. If you want to get out of pain as quickly as possible, do this. And 3 days later, he came back pretty much a new man. And I have never seen such a response to diet for obvious sciatica and back pain. So it's not a typical response, but it is something we see improvement very quickly with just the right dietary changes. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about today. Let's see if this button works. Oh, it does. Fantastic. So who is this for? Well, as I've already hinted, people with back pain, but also stomach pain, neck pain, headaches, migraines, arthritis, all kinds of arthritis, fibromyalgia. That's a big one, and I'm going to have a special little slot about fibromyalgia later. Chest pain, sports injuries. But it's also, this is very good for people who are interested in pain prevention or even athletic enhancement. That will become clear a little bit later. Now, my goal for this web class, for this webinar, is to inspire you to take a new look at chronic pain and get you on the path to feel well again. And I'm going to partly do this. This, by the way, this slide actually comes from marketing. Now, one of the things that marketing teaches us in the world of healthcare, if it's used properly, is that we can actually use marketing techniques to actually help people make the right decisions on themselves about health. And so part of this, I want to break some of the false chains of belief that you have about your own pain and where it's coming from. And hopefully you're going to experience something new, okay? And over a period of time, this will hopefully lead you to a new epiphany. I won't go into more about what that means, but that's basically what I really want to do. Is I want to change how things are working for you in your own mind. And then if you have any questions at any point, there's a little chat bar, and just put in a question down in there. I might answer it as I go along, or I might come back and answer it if I see it. So please interact. Now, oh yes, I can use this button here, can't I? So my overall mission, though, is to relieve human suffering. If I could relieve all human suffering in one go, I would, but that's not within my power. So my plan is to improve the health of everyone I meet, such that they save the NHS £50,000 each. Now, obviously, if you're not in the UK, I still want to help you. But in the UK, we are blessed with the NHS. But the sad factor of the matter is 2/3 of the costs of the NHS just go on people over 65. And in fact, the cost once you get to 55 to the NHS, your cost is £100,000 from the age of 55 to you die. The saddest fact, though, is that nearly all of that is preventable. So I'm aiming to at least prevent half of that £100,000 cost. And that is then going to free up a lot of money for the NHS to actually treat people from serious accidents and injuries as opposed to lifestyle. My plan is to inspire people not just to improve their own health, but to then help them inspire their friends and their family to get healthier. This is called the rising tide effect. And it's because you may have heard that like sort of how much money you make is actually reflected in how much money your 5 nearest friends make, or the 5 people you hang out with the most make. Okay, but it's also true about health, and people who are healthy tend to have healthier friends. So one of the best things that you can do to make yourself healthier is try and inspire and encourage your friends to be healthier. And when you are more at peace with your own minds and your own bodies, maybe we can all start spreading a little bit more peace in the world. So that is my plan for relieving human suffering. One person, one community, one family, one group of friends, one tribe at a time. So what makes me the expert? Well, I'm Chris Pickard. That's not enough though. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in chiropractic, and that did entail delving and dipping into all sorts of things like neurology, biochemistry, psychology, nutrition, but mainly how the frame of the body works and the nervous system. Really specialised in the nervous system. And I like to say that I show people how to add 20 years of health to their life. That's what I'd like to do, is make sure that everybody has an extra 20 years of health, because another sad fact is that most people spend the last 20 years of their life on drugs with a chronic disease, and that needn't be true for at least 90% of the population. And I have spent a long time learning. I first got into health, you can see in the back there some bales of hay. First got into healthcare because I had hay fever, and my parents knew that just because my mum had hay fever, that if I went to a doctor, I would get some pills and I'd have hay fever forever. But she had learned that when she was going to see a chiropractor, her hay fever was much better. So they thought, well, the first thing we're going to do is send Chris to a chiropractor. And yep, with chiropractic care, my hay fever was about 90% better. Now with some added little things, it's about 99.9999% better. I don't remember even having itchy eyes last year or a sneeze. I think the last time I had really bad itchy eyes was maybe 3 years ago for one day. So that's how I got into health, because of hay fever and getting an alternative view to what most people think about health and well-being. And then over the years, when I became a chiropractor, I found out that most people went to chiropractors because of pain. And then when I started in practice, I was finding that not everybody responded the same. And I was finding that the old-time chiropractors were also saying the same thing, is that 50 years ago, people responded to care miraculously. But they said everyone tended to eat a lot more. There was a lot less toxins in the atmosphere. There's all kinds of things. And so chiropractors started doing a lot more nutrition and exercise and other lifestyle advice because people in the modern world needed it. And this side of my practice really escalated when I met this man here, Mr. Pete Cohen, who is now married to this lady here, Hannah. Now, Pete, some of you may recognize Pete Cohen. He used to be on TV as a life coach, and he's helped many sports personalities, and he also helps me as well. And Pete's fiancée, Hannah, was unfortunately, and I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this story, well, it's public anyway because they've got a public website, which is where this picture comes from. But Hannah was diagnosed with a terminal brain cancer. And I think she was given 18 months to live. And there was nothing that could be done in the UK. And luckily, because Pete knew people, and they said, well, you need to find someone who's had this form of cancer and survived, and find out what they did. And this led them to America. I promise this is going to lead back to pain relief at some point soon. Okay, this led them to America, and they had some experimental treatment and helped get rid of the cancer, but it came back. And they had some more, spent a lot of money, and it came back again. It got rid of it, but it came back again. And then they met this man, Dr. Bob Rakowski. Again, a fellow chiropractor, very keen on neurology, but also very, very clued up on nutrition, incredibly so. And when they met Dr. Rakowski, he changed her lifestyle. And once Hannah's lifestyle was changed, and once he put her through some procedures to detox her body, get rid of all the crud and rubbish she'd been putting in over the years, changed what she was doing. When she had treatment, the cancer then didn't come back. And that, I think, was now 5 years ago, more. And she is now cancer clear. And this is from a terminal cancer, and now she's better. So some of what I'm going to be teaching I have learned from Dr. Rakowski. But this also then led me to meet this man, or learn from this man. I haven't actually met him in person, Dr. Dan Pomper. And he is another chiropractor and nutritionist, and he works with a lot of very sick people. And his phrase or saying is, you have to fix the cell to get well. And this really gave me more insight into the causes of pain and how to cure pain. And so after 23 years of learning and spending about £100,000, I am now in the position where I am now. And this is basically what qualifies me to help you get out of your pain. And this is basically why you've been struggling, okay? If you haven't spent £100,000 on learning about your health, okay, and I think I've only scratched the surface, then this could be one of the reasons why you're still struggling. Because even the health experts have generally spent more money on their health than people who are sick trying to get well. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have to spend £100,000. That is not it. What you should be realizing is the fact that you should be tapping into talking to someone who has spent that much money and time learning, and those people who have probably spent even more. So tonight's webinar, 3 secrets you can use right now to decrease chronic pain, or almost right now. Secret number 1, it's in the brain, and I will teach you the 4-day throwaway technique. Secret number 2, pain is in the cells, why you must eat your water. And there's more into that one as well. And then secret number 3, harness your vagus nerve with the craziest exercise you have ever seen in the world and the magic word you have to say while doing it. Are you excited? I hope so. Are you intrigued? So, secret number one, chronic pain really is in the brain. In fact, all pain is in the brain because that's where all perception is felt. It's all in the brain. Doesn't matter if you've got an arrow through your leg, very obvious real physical cause of pain, but the pain itself is felt in the brain. And this is where we have to start, especially with chronic pain, because it has been shown that once you have pain for more than 3 months, your brain actually changes. And it doesn't matter what the original cause of your pain was, you have to go to the brain because it's all about perception. And this is a really funny experiment that was done a number of years ago. They basically took a group of pills, some aspirin basically, and they told people in pain that they took one group of people that the aspirin cost 20. They're trying out a new pain relief drug. It is aspirin. It's a form of aspirin. It costs 20 pence per pill. And they went to another group of people, similar amount of pain, and they said it's the same pill exactly, but they just said it costs £2. And so there's no difference in the actual pill whatsoever. The only difference was in the perception of the cost. And basically, they found out that when you told people that the cost of the drug was 10 times as much, okay, which is what the difference is, £22. It wasn't actually pounds, it was in dollars. They found out that people had significantly better pain relief. And so, now this isn't actually it is actually a secret, actually, that people actually gloss over, that if you want pain relief, okay, the more you pay for it, the better the relief will be. And I know that it might be quite a scary and bizarre concept, but it's true of almost anything. If you pay for an educational program, the more you pay for it, the more you'll get out of it because you've invested into it. But they showed that it works right down to small amounts of money as well. So bear that in mind. Perception is everything, and value. This is what we're really talking about. It's the value you place upon a treatment that gives it a lot of its clout, the power of placebo. This is one of the things one of the things I do with my clients is I actually use this, not just by charging them more money, but by using the power of the placebo, by instilling value in what I'm offering, letting people know just how much it's worth and what it's doing. There are other ways to increase the placebo effect. This is just one of them. Another really good way to get into the brain is the power of gratitude and forgiveness. Okay, when you practice gratitude and forgiveness on a daily basis, it actually makes you physically stronger. It changes your perception of what it takes to do things. I don't know what I've done there. I have to go back and change that slide. Basically, it changes your perception of how much effort things take. It lowers your stress levels and it decreases your pain. This is something I talk a lot about with my patients. Okay, this is what I want to talk to you about, and this is the 4-day throwaway technique. It's called expressive writing. Okay, and this is really powerful. It has long-term effects. Okay, very, very simple. Okay, for 4 days, just write down on paper just all of your negative thoughts, anger, frustration, confusion. All of these things actually complicate pain. The more angry, the more confused, the more worked up emotionally you are, okay, the more you're going to feel pain. Because remember, pain is a perception of the brain. And if you are feeling all these other negative thoughts, your pain will be worse. So you want to get it down on paper. You want to literally get it out of the brain onto a piece of paper by actually physically writing it. And so you write it out, and you could spend 2 minutes, you could spend 5 minutes, you could spend 15 minutes writing it all out. And then this is the important thing. Once you've written it, fold it up rip it up, squash it into a ball, throw it in a bin, or you can make a ceremony and burn it if you want to, but please be careful if you're going to do that. You literally want to write it down and throw it away. And even if you just do this for a few minutes every day for 4 days, it can have significant impacts on your health and well-being for the next 6 months. Less pain perception and less general feelings of illness. In fact, they took people who were healthy, okay, and they got them to do this really powerful expressive writing for 4 days, and over the next 6 months they had less visits to the doctor, they took less medication, and there were less things wrong with them. So 4 days can actually impact your life for 6 months. Now, some people don't actually respond well to writing down the negative statements, and in fact nearly everybody in pain does do well with this, but nearly everybody in pain is always saying negative stuff to themselves. So even if you feel good writing down the negative stuff, you then want to spend 4 days writing down everything you're grateful for, everything that's positive in your life, everything that's ever made you joyful, anything that you can remember or can think of that produces a good effect. Even one of my favorite things, okay, the smells of oranges, smell of lemon, and you can't really read that, can you, and orange. Basically these things, nice smells, uplift the brain. It's fantastic. Write down the smell of oranges, anything, the sound of rain on a roof, whatever, the smell of grass after it's been mown. Write down all these things that change your senses in a positive way. But when you're writing down the positive stuff, don't throw this away. You want to keep this. You want to file it, and you want to get it out and read it. And you want to fill your brain with good stuff. So that's the 4-day throwaway and the forever keeping technique that I've just named. So please use that. Please use that. Secret number 2, healing starts at the cell. Every single part of your body, whether it's muscle that's been injured, whether it's bones that are inflamed in your joints, whether it's your brain, okay, it's all to do with cells, okay, and if your cells are not healthy, they are much more likely to be in pain very easily. So there's a picture of a cell membrane. Now, if you don't already know what a cell is, okay, cells are the single smallest functional unit of everything in your body. So you've got eye cells, brain cells, liver cells, whatever. Okay, and in each part of the body they have slightly different functions. But all cells are covered with a membrane, which are 2 layers of cholesterol, okay, with some proteins and other bits stuck through them. So you need cholesterol to make every single cell, whether it's a nerve cell, a brain cell. You need cholesterol to make also. I'll get to this in a moment. Oh, I think this is in the wrong place. Yep, this is in the wrong place. There you go. What cells need? They need the correct nutrition. If you don't have the correct nutrition, let's have another drawer again. You cannot make all of these things here. Okay. You also, if you don't have the correct nutrition going to, you can't have the right communication, and communication comes in a number of different ways, basically. So communication, okay, communication can come onto these little bits here, and then there's receptor sites, and there's channels for different chemicals here. There's all kinds of different things going on with a cell membrane. And so you need the right nutrition, but also cells need a clean environment, okay? Because you can't be a clean fish in a dirty bowl. And this is one of the big things I learned from Dr. Bob Bukowski. If your cells are surrounded with toxic gunk, then it means none of the chemical messages can get through. Your nerves can't work properly. Your system just cannot work because it's all just gunked up. Imagine if you've got a dustbin outside your house and the dustmen never come. It just fills and fills, and you get maggots, and then you get flies, and then you get rats, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And most people's bodies are like this. And one of the best examples of pain relief and detox that I've ever witnessed was a young 80-year-old lady that came to me, and she was in pain all over her body. And she was eventually diagnosed with something called allergic polyneuropathy, which basically meant she was allergic to everything, pretty much, apart from, I think it was carrots by the time she came to see me. And no matter what she ate, it caused pain. And now we did two things. We did some mechanical treatment, and the mechanical treatment eased her pain, even though she hadn't changed what she was eating. It eased her pain, but it would come back, but it allowed her to move around a little bit more, because she'd had it so long it was causing mechanical faults that were making it worse. But then we put her on Dr. Bob Rakowski's 7-day detox program, and by the 4th day she was feeling absolutely amazing. And by the 5th day she was eating more than just carrots. In fact, she'd actually started eating more stuff anyway because she was putting up with the pain. But she found that by the 4th, 5th day, the pain left her, and she was eating things that would normally cause her pain. And she has kept this up. She's not always detoxing, but she uses one of the powders that we use, and it's like 4 years, and she is still out of pain, and she just keeps topping herself up with some detox nutrients, and she is out of pain. And she got out of pain literally within 5 days of getting rid of gunk from her system. And this is one of the reasons why drugs don't work, because pretty much every drug used for pain actually damages your ability to heal, either directly or indirectly. It can interfere with the actual healing process itself. It can interfere with your cell membranes and make them inflamed. In fact, most anti-inflammatories, like whatever it is, ibuprofen, Nurofen, literally, at a certain point, they're anti-inflammatory, but as you take them more and more, they actually become inflammatory. They actually stop the processes inside your cell being able to repair properly. And this is where you get worse over time, whether it's an opioid painkiller or an anti-inflammatory, or even paracetamol, or Tylenol in America. So what you have to do instead is feed your body great foods. And 5 of the best, and I got this list from Dan Sullivan, is lots of green leafy vegetables, good fats like coconut oil. This is a bit different from Dan Sullivan. Small clean fish like sardines. I love sardines, okay? Because sardines, you tend to eat the bones because they're so soft as well. They're full of great oils. You're also going to find in their coenzyme Q10 loads of different nutrients and proteins in sardines that are really just a power pack for helping your brain and your nervous system and bringing down inflammation. So sardines and salad, really good. Berries like blueberries, raspberries, also really good, packed full of nutrients that can actually help calm the flames in your body. And then there's bone broth. Bone broth really helps heal the gut. And so much inflammation comes from the gut, and as you start calming down the inflammation in your gut, pain elsewhere can decrease. So many people, when they've got especially back pain or chronic pain, if you actually prod your stomach, you'll find that it's very tender in a lot of cases, and that's because of inflammation coming from your gut. So you need to look after your gut. Now, did I put in, no, I haven't yet, there's terrible foods as well. Terrible foods that tend to increase inflammation: grains, so the top of the list are wheat and rice, also because of the polluting pesticides and herbicides on them. Processed foods, refined sugars. If you're in a lot of pain, eat a lot more of these, and just, oh, I'm going to do this, and just cut out these. Oh, I enjoyed that. So this brings me on to why you should eat your water. Now, a lot of you may have heard of the alkaline diet. The proper alkaline diet isn't what everyone thinks. It's not even the people promoting the alkaline diet called the alkaline diet. I've done a separate video on that if you want to know about that more. But basically, a proper alkaline diet is what I tend to put people on, because first of all, you need to eat a lot more fruits and vegetables, because the water you get in fruits and vegetables is actually much more hydrating than the water that I'm going to drink right now. Because it's not just about the water you put in, it's about all the nutrients that actually hold the water inside your cells, inside the muscles, inside the joints. So proper hydration is really about eating lots of raw food, but there are other ways to hydrate, like adding greens powders, and there's other things that I teach as well. So eat a lot more raw food, okay? And when I put people on, when they're in a lot of pain, I now put people on a highly alkalizing diet almost always straight away. So actually a traditional alkaline diet, so no meat, no fish at first. So highly alkalizing diet for a few days, but I also put them on some special nutrients because most people who are sick and in chronic pain, okay, their system's so depleted, their cells need about 5 to 10 times more nutrients than healthy cells to fix the cell membranes and actually to get all the electrochemistry working properly on the inside. It doesn't take long to make some changes for most people. And the most extreme, a guy I just call him Mr. Shuffle, he had a problem with some veins in his legs. I can't remember if it came from heart problems. But anyway, he had some vein strip from his legs, and that's when his problem started. He started getting pain in his legs, and he started to use them properly, so he started shuffling, losing his balance, and this is then starting to affect all other matters of his health. Doctors couldn't really find anything wrong apart from the fact that they thought, well, you've got permanent nerve damage. Nothing to be done. I mean, they tried drugs and injections and all sorts of things. You tried physical therapy. And by the time he saw me, I thought, okay, well, there's a lot that needs to happen with this guy. And let's start work with him physically soon. I said, look, if you want to start doing something right now that's going to help, do this. So I put him on this special protocol, and he came back 3 days later. And it was just like, wow. I mean, he was absolutely delighted. He said his balance was better, there was less pain, he felt he could walk better. Still a long way to go, but just within 3 days there was a significant change to his physical pain that was caused by something physical. So I'm trying to get across the point that your pain, no matter what you think is causing it, there's probably a lot that you can do that might be completely unrelated to what you think is causing it that's going to help you. And secret number 3, you've got to move. You have to move. Movement is one of the things that actually pumps the nutrients around our body. And in fact, we have to move in order for our bodies to work normally. If you're not moving, your body cannot heal properly. Your brain can't work properly unless you're moving enough, especially the neck. So one of the simplest exercises I get people doing who are in a lot of pain, providing they can actually move their neck, okay, is literally just bringing their head backwards and forwards, twisting it side to side, bringing it side to side like this as well, and just doing this repeatedly throughout the day in different positions towards gravity as well. Because movement in the neck is so powerful, but a lot of the time we have to actually bring down some inflammation to get people moving, and there are lots of exercises that people can do that will actually then help them move more. There are even movement machines. That's why I put this little note here at the bottom. There are these movement machines, they're called motor signs. Okay, so basically what they're doing is they're literally doing the movement for you. Okay, but what happens is they start doing the movement for you, your body starts getting moved. And then as it starts moving, you start feeling better and you can start moving more. And this led Emma's mum to get from no movement to movement and then into the gym herself and motivated, because as you start moving more, you will feel better. It's a question of finding the right thing. So I think motor size, if you're really stuck, is a great way to start. But this is something that is absolutely astounding. This is something I've just learned and I want to share it with you. It's called the hummingbird. Developed by a chiropractor in the States after he had a stroke, a really terrible stroke, and he was not expected to recover very well at all, but he had some special chiropractic treatment, a technique that I use here called quantum neurology. And he found, let's get something, here we go. Now, he is standing on basically a block, okay, so that his heels are lower than his toes, okay, and it's good to, if you can actually have a surface where you can do that, it's better to do this in shoes. I mean, you could, as long as you've got your feet raised up on something, so you could use a thick book or something like that, so your toes are higher than your heels. And this stretches a muscle at the back of your calf. So this muscle in here, okay? And as that's stretched, that apparently decreases stress. Okay, I have yet to look that up. But when you bend forwards and have your spine and your head in an extended position, this also decreases stress. Okay, and he's actually rolling his hands here. So he's got his hands behind him and he's rolling them like this. Okay, and his head's forwards. And so and this position, even just holding it for about 20 seconds, I've actually done this. I've actually tested people's stress nervous system, and then I've done this for 20 seconds, and then I've retested, and it's better. It's amazing. And as you decrease stress, this is all activating what's called your vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve is your healing nerve, basically. And there's a seated version as well. You can do it with you seated, so you don't have to stand, as long as you're pushing yourself forwards, rolling back. Now, this is the magic thing, okay? This is the magic word. Now, when you go to a doctor's, okay, and they look at the back of your throat with a tongue depressor, they get you and they're looking for a movement in your uvula. And this is looking at the motor portion of the vagus nerve, or thereabouts anyway. But when you say you're actually activating the vagus nerve a little bit. So you can go la, 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 la. But there's a word that's even better. And that word, you ready for the word? Okay, nyunk. I don't care how you spell it, N-Y-U-N-K or N-U-N-K, nyunk, 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 nyunk. When you say nyunk, it's a very guttural sound. And this seems to, apparently it activates the vagus nerve and the parasympathetics, which is your rest, relax, digest, and repair, which brings you out of stress and brings down pain. So doing this and going nyunk, 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 I hope you're all feeling silly now, because I am. Very powerful exercise. And at the end, if you want to know how to get videos of this, I'll tell you how to get that. So those are the three big secrets, and I just want to home in on fibromyalgia a little bit more, because so many people have fibromyalgia, and they're doing nothing apart from maybe having painkillers. And as I've already established, painkillers will just, in the long term, make it worse. They'll wear out eventually. Some people, they don't, okay, and they help enough and they get on with their normal life. But over the years, I have found out that a lot of people with fibromyalgia don't actually have fibromyalgia. They just have a problem with their spine. And when they go to a chiropractor or an osteopath that knows how to work with them, the majority of their pain disappears. And another group of people with fibromyalgia, okay, they're either nutritionally deficient or they're toxic. And you start working on their nutrition and bringing down toxins, and their cell membranes start working better, and they're less sensitive to pain. Very often it's a combination of these two things. Okay, and when you work on these two things, it brings down, I'll use a cooling colour, shall I? Oh, yellow, maybe. It brings down the inflammation in the brain. When you start moving, properly getting the spine working, you start getting rid of the toxins, the brain calms down and you feel less pain. But I have found there are three types of fibromyalgia. Well, there's only one type of fibromyalgia, but there's two groups of people who've been told they've got fibromyalgia. They think they've got fibromyalgia, but they don't. They have something that's actually much more fixable. And we get their spines moving, or we work on their nutrition, and they're heaps better very quickly. But with really ingrained fibromyalgia, which is absolutely horrific, you have to work on all kinds of different levels. With these three secrets are going to help, but there's a lot more that can be done with fibromyalgia. But rest assured, I think about 2/3 of people who have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia do not have it. They have something that can be fixed. And everyone with fibromyalgia can be helped if they're prepared to be open and start changing and doing some things. Okay, true fibromyalgia, very hard to cure. In fact, I would go as far as say that true fibromyalgia is something, there's actually something going on that's really happening inside the nervous system. I'm pointing to the hands because I've done a lot of research into fibromyalgia. But anyway, yeah, a lot of people, I think 2/3 of people with fibromyalgia don't actually have it. Okay. But what everybody needs is they need the rest. They need the magnificent 7 health heroes. So I've shared 3 secrets today, but they are all part of what Dr. Bob Bukowski calls his magnificent 7. And they are think right, talk right, eat right, drink right, move right, sleep right, and poop right, which is his term for detox, basically. So poop right is actually about, can I write like this? Detox. Yes, I can write. There you go. Detox. Okay. And when you get all 7 of these working, all 7 of these strategies, you get tremendous results in your health and your life. And so I teach more of these in the health lab. In the actual original Less Pain 7 Days training, I go into 4 or 5 of the magnificent 7 a bit more. But in my anti-aging health lab, 7 weeks to a younger you, I go into amazing strategies that work on really deep levels to help make the brain work better, make sure you're full of nutrients, really detox, really get your cells working for you. And people who have enrolled in the anti-aging health lab, I love this mission. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to develop anti-aging super habits over the next 7 weeks and save time while allowing your brain and body to last longer, so that you can recharge and rejuvenate your cells and soul and feel up to 10 to 20 years younger in the next 6 months. And this is something I get people to repeat to themselves. And there are 7 steps to this, which I will skip over because you don't need to know. Okay, but it's the process that is actually key when it comes to getting motivation and momentum going for healing. You have to have a clear, specific mission. This, remember, gets the mind in gear. You have to have a future vision of where you want to be. You have to have a system in place, okay, so that you can get constant wins to motivate yourself. Any challenges that are there, you've got to have someone that says, or you've got to realize that these challenges are obstacles and they're normal to get over, okay? And you want to create great experiences so you can remember, and they build upon the constant wins. You need to get feedback loops going, so you know, is this good, is this bad? A community. And this is why, again, I spoke about trying to enlist your friends and your family into doing these things. This is what the health lab's all about. Getting the big momentum going, and then you'll get a mission accomplished, and then you'll get hooked on actions to improve your life forever, just like I have, just like Dr. Bob, like Hannah, like Pete Cohen, like so many of my clients. So let me ask you some questions. What would your life be like if you implemented everything that I spoke about, not just the 3 secrets, but all the other little things I hinted at, okay, and went out and you did them, and you decreased your pain significantly or even totally? How much better would your life be? A little bit, a lot, significantly? Start thinking about it. Start building that future vision so that you can actually pull yourself towards the vision. And the second question is, do you think you can do it by yourself? If you can, brilliant, fantastic. If you think you need a little bit of help, then reach out. Okay, you might just need a little push and a nudge. You might need some personal coaching, or you might find that you can do it by yourself with one of my coaching programs. So we just provide you the information. Okay, and we have some different ones that are available, from free up to paid for. So if you are interested in seeing what I have to offer, then when you call, I will give you access to the original 5-step 7 days to less pain videos and resources. I'll tell you about the app that's part of, and that includes the app that I talk about there, that really helps change your brain and helps change pain perception. More hydration, see more powerful breathing exercises to help change your posture, get more oxygen into your brain, which actually decreases the inflammation, and more on foods to avoid. Also, if you want to set up a call, I will send you a PDF on the Magnificent 7 if you don't already have it, and I'll also send you the hummingbird videos. So all you have to do is, In fact, I'll tell you, I'll remind you of actually one of the things that I want you to do. Okay, my plan at the beginning is I want to improve the health of everyone I meet, okay, so that they can help save the NHS together. I want people to inspire other people, okay, and I want this to actually create more than just less pain. I want it to create more peace. So less pain, more peace, because we've got to replace pain with something, peace. So if you're interested in even just helping out with my big mission, okay, then you give me a call or email me. We'll set up a free 15-minute pain breakthrough call, and I'll discuss through the different options, and I'll send you all the links to all those different things. So if you want any of those things, just set up a free call. You've got no obligation. We'll just find out where you are, and I'll try and set you in what I think is the best direction for you. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I was obviously pretty comprehensive because I have no questions. And yeah, I will now call it a day. Thank you very much. I have recorded this and I will get the replay up as soon as I possibly can. Thank you. You're all awesome. Be well. And we can stop.